where we encounter Logan as Weapon X, having lost his memories and just being a bit of a feral dickhead, isn't he?
He just has that weird moment. You know that moment whenever, like, what was it, Jean just touches Logan and he's just like, oh God, I have to go try and win an Oscar now.
It's like, this is the greatest show.
I'm placing bets. $100 says Hugh Jackman's Wolverine will end up dead at the end of this Deadpool 3.
You're on, Bucky boy.
Ryan Reynolds just blew the internet's collective minds with the revelation that Deadpool 3 will feature Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
We're so excited!
Oh my God! But as addressed in one of the teaser videos, it leaves us with the question, what about the timeline?
Oh yeah, we're talking about the timeline that had a reset after the original Avengers, because the MCU, Fox, and Sonyverse are all about that continuity.
But how does it all work? Like, how will Deadpool and Wolverine be integrated into the MCU, if at all? Does this mean that something much bigger is coming for the MCU? Are the mutants on their way?
Or is it just going to be another Marvel boner rug pull? Because we're all big fans of that. Oh, and here's Mr. Fantastic. Oh, no, actually, his name is Steely Wheelie Automobile.
Yeah, Mr. Spaghetti.
Mr. the king of rubber band balls.
Are you ready to claw into some X-Men theories?
Oh, dude, Chucky Wucky and the Funky Bunch. I'm ready. I'm ready. My favorite bald boy and his wheelchair wonders.
Let's jump right into it. So first, we have to establish exactly everything in regards to, like, Deadpool, Hugh Jackman's X-Men, and the MCU, and the differences between all of them, and how they can all meld together. So I've actually got like a whiteboard for this because it's so needlessly complicated. I feel like Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia being like, it's all here.
We're solving Pepe.
How will Pepe Sylvia fit in the MCU? I know it. There was one time where Deadpool farted off key in Deadpool 2, and that means he's connected to 616. No. So first, let's start off with X-Men and Wolverine's Hugh Jackman. And even that's not simple because there are multiple timelines between them. Because you remember Days of Future Past, it kind of like messed up the continuity. Mm-hmm. Like if we're to start off, like in the timeline, you have X-Men First Class, which is of course a prequel, where you have Charles Xavier, Raven, or Mystique, and Magneto all come together during the Cuban Missile Crisis, resulting in Xavier and Magneto splitting off because of their different ideologies towards mutants. Wolverine was in that film as well, if you remember. He told Magneto and Xavier to jog on, and that was the extent of his contribution for that. I swear Hugh Jackman he's tortured, man. He has to keep, like, super fit all the time in case, like, Fox or Marvel just want to be like, yeah, you're in here for 5 seconds, that sells another 100 million tickets at the box office. It's crazy.
Drag him out of a closet. They're like, hey, stop singing show tunes, put the costume on, put on your wife beater and get out there.
That's literally what they did in Dark Phoenix. Don't you remember? He like comes out of a crate. He just like kills everybody. He has like a weird moment with Phoenix and then he just jogs on again. He's like, what am I doing here? And he runs off to do The Greatest Showman.
I was gonna say, they bust open this crate and he just like rolls out. I was like, where am I? And they're like, oh my God, is that The Greatest Showman? Oh my God. Okay, well,
after First Class, after First Class, it Days of Future Past, right?
Yeah, and then the past segments are where things kind of start verging off and getting a little confusing. We know that Wolverine gets sent back to try and prevent the Sentinels from being developed to hunt down mutant kind, thanks to... Which, fun fact, real quick, in the original comic, it was Kitty Pryde who gets sent back, not Wolverine. But to do this, they go back to when Mystique tries to assassinate Trask, the one who develops the Sentinels. And then that's where everything kind of diverts off into these, like, branching paths.
In the old timeline, without all the time travel shenanigans. In the original, obviously, that didn't happen in the original timeline. So Mystique kills Trask, she shoots him, and then she gets captured. And the Sentinel program then continues to be developed all throughout the original trilogy and side films, which is the reason why, you know, mutants are in hiding, because the world doesn't like mutants because Mystique set us down on a timeline where everyone was like, the mutants are just crazy, super-powered weirdos, you know what I mean?
Well, you have X-Men Origins Wolverine, which, you know, We don't have to talk about it.
Then after that, you have X-Men, the first X-Men.
Yep. Can you guess what comes next? I'll give you a hint. It's X2. Is that a good hint? So X2, X-Men United.
X-Men 3, the not so last stand.
We have the Wolverine.
After the Wolverine, this is where X-Men Days of Future Past happens, and it starts messing with the timeline, you know? We can call this one Timeline A, right? So in Timeline A, Logan goes to the past, stops Mystique from killing Trask, ends up saving them and President Nixon, and as a result of Mystique saving President Nixon and Trask from Magneto, they change public opinion of mutants, and then they start the new Fox timeline.
And I don't give a fox about any of that. So now you have to remember that Days of Future Past Wolverine is before he becomes Weapon X and is infused with adamantium. He gets captured in the past after changing the timeline by Stryker, and then this is where we have X-Men Apocalypse happen, and then Dark Phoenix, which is another one we don't have to talk about, where we encounter Logan as Weapon X, having lost his memories and just being a bit of a feral dickhead, isn't he?
After that, after Dark Phoenix, then in Timeline B, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, here's the thing, right? We don't really talk about New Mutants. I don't even goddamn know if that's part of Timeline A or Timeline B.
I gotta be honest, I don't think anybody saw New Mutants.
Well, that's because there is reference to Wolverine, but what I know for sure from all of this, then Logan then appears in Timeline B after Dark Phoenix and maybe after New Mutants, because that takes place in 2029, and this is Old Man Wolverine, where he dies at the end along Xavier, spoilers, after paving the way for a new generation of mutants who happen to survive like a different culling of mutants in their timeline. I'm pretty sure it was something kind of stupid. Not only did Xavier kill most of the X-Men, but the Sentinels didn't do the rest of the job. I think it was like something to do with like infected corn. The Fox timeline is really complicated, and we haven't even talked about how Deadpool fits into that. So Zach, tell us about Deadpool. How does that fit into the Fox universe?
I will gladly tell you about Deadpool, Callum. So Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are confirmed to take place in the new timeline, Timeline B of Fox's Marvel Universe. This is because the anti-hero references it as a joke, and we see the X-Men in the background of Deadpool 2, and it's like the Timeline B X-Men.
Yeah.
We all know what happens in Deadpool 1, at least I assume. He saves the girl, defeats Ajax, but Deadpool 2 is where things get even more complicated. So in Deadpool 2, Cable comes back to kill a kid to stop an apocalypse, and he's stopped by Deadpool and his gang, his merry little X-Force. But it's here where Deadpool uses Cable's device to, 1, save his girlfriend, nice, secure the bag, 2, go back and kill himself from X-Men Origins. So that just kind of has me wondering what timeline are we in?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, this will come into play later about us talking about how they could transfer into the MCU, but I know director David Leitch, he admitted in an interview that they didn't have a lot of conversations about how it affects the overall Fox timeline. I mean, I don't think Fox, even at Deadpool 2, really believed or cared about how it affected their X-Men thing. They were like, it's separate things. Like, no one's really gonna care about this, are they?
Yeah, but probably not. Well, who knows? They're just nerds. Anyway, so that's all fine and good. That's all whatever. That's the crazy Fox storyline explained. But then what about the MCU? Is there a Wolverine there? Like, is there a Wolverine that exists here already? Because actually, isn't there a reference to it in She-Hulk?
There is a reference to it in She-Hulk. In She-Hulk episode 12, there's an article barely on screen about a man fighting with metal claws during a bar brawl. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be Logan. I mean, but there's not really a lot of other big Marvel characters that have metal claws.
Yeah.
But knowing Kevin Feige, it probably is referencing the X-Men himself. It just depends about whether or not that is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Yeah. If the MCU slaps me in the face with another boner, I'm gonna have to call a lawyer. Anyways.
We haven't even talked about how the MCU has handled crossing universes. Let's try and get over that quickly.
Oh my god.
So, as we know, right, the multiverse has been and probably will be will continue to be a huge part of the upcoming films, right?
Yeah, if they continue to pull stunts like they did with Quicksilver in WandaVision and the Illuminati in Multiverse of Madness, it essentially gives Disney free reign to essentially like tease and troll people into theater seats without having to create complicated plots that somehow merge universes and instead just kind of rely on cameos.
People still don't know if John Krasinski is going to remain Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Everyone was like, oh, it's great. But is it the case that Marvel was just like, oh, everyone wants him, so we'll give him a little variant version?
Just,
why the fuck not?
What worries me though is that like it seems like some people might be getting a little too content with ideas of that. Like, oh, we don't have to worry about like writing good movies anymore. Just bring Chris Evans back, but make him Johnny Storm. Like, or wouldn't that'll be cool? That'll put people in seats. Or well, how about we just work with the characters we got and stop relying on the old ones, huh?
Talking about the multiverses and how the MCU treats the multiverse in general.
Yep.
The first one we can look at obviously is Loki. Right?
Yes.
So we found out that the TVA, or Timekeepers, which is created by He Who Remains, which is a variant of Kang the Conqueror, which is confirmed is going to be a bigger part of the upcoming phases, has tried to keep the multiverses from traveling between each other. But now we know that through Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home, characters can travel to other universes and into the 616 one on their own. It could be through various means, and it involves films that are owned by both Sony and Fox. Really, the only connection needs to be that they're part of Marvel.
Yeah, Multiverse of Madness it takes us to Universe 818, I think, where
838.
Mutants are a big part of the power hierarchy, with even Charles Xavier being a part of the Illuminati. With America Chavez, she can jump through like multiple universes, but she isn't the only way that's been like proven to do so, right? So it means that traveling to different universes is possible, but the real question comes from when they can jump to like new universes.
Right, because it's not like every one of them's running on the same path, on the same race, and you can only jump vertically
Or horizontally,
to the left or to the right to another multiverse that's in the same time period, right? Because in Spider-Man No Way Home, we see that each of the Spider-Man villains from this Fox and Sony Spider-Man films, they were pulled right before the moment of death.
Which,
right?
by the way, still doesn't make sense. Are they being sent back to new realities? Or are they being sent back to the same one to die despite all that character development? Like, is Willem Dafoe gonna get sent back to his universe and be like, a new lease on that? Just don't tell Harry.
It's true. It's true, though. Oh, my gosh. Like, regardless, what this proves is that through Doctor Strange's magic, people can be pulled into different universes from different points in time, from different timelines or universes.
It hurts my brain.
It doesn't sound complicated at all.
Yeah.
But then, does that interfere with the timeline they go back to? Does it cause a new timeline to form? Like, we don't know. Like, and also, you have to remember Venom's appearance in No Way Home.
Oh, God.
It showed that this process isn't perfect. Like, yes, he does get pulled back into his own universe, into the Sonyverse, but part of the symbiote is left behind. So that means that things could be left behind in other universes, or people could get stuck in 616.
I mean, do you even want to talk about the Vulture and Morbius? Do you want to open that can of worms? Because I'll do it.
Oh God, that was a mess. Wait. So the Vulture is stuck in the Sonyverse now.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Oh my gosh. The Sonyverse is like badly written fan fiction at this point.
Okay, so we've clarified that according to all the different Marvel stuff that's out there right now, if a spell that affects everyone is used, it doesn't mean everything will be put back to normal perfectly. If a character is pulled to another universe, it doesn't mean they will be pulled back. They could get stuck there. I'm having an aneurysm.
This presents a whole lot of different possibilities for how Marvel could bring Deadpool and Wolverine in. But what about the comics? Do they say anything about characters crossing over from different universes there?
Yeah, the totally solid and not inconsistent comic storylines is where we're gonna look for answers here. Like, I'm still waiting for Marvel to bring in some of the wackier versions of heroes like they did in Loki. When are we going to get Spiders Man? I want him. Hive mind of spiders that think they are Peter Parker of a separate universe. I want it. When's it happening? Where's Marvel Studios presents Spider-Punk the movie? He's got a mohawk on his mask.
Sex Lucas Mike.
When are we gonna get Marvel Universe, the MCU Marvel Studios presents The Mighty Thor, but it's Miles Morales, where that one white author wrote it with, like, graffiti on Mjolnir, because that's not racist. Anyways.
I was gonna say, the comic storyline that comes to mind for me, like in relation to the whole Deadpool 3 thing, is Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
Do me a favor. Start over.
That's what I'm saying, because in that storyline, he kills everyone in his own universe and then travels to Mord to continue killing everyone. And I know for a fact that Ryan Reynolds did hint at one point that he wanted to do that storyline.
He did.
So ending the Fox trilogy of Deadpool for Deadpool 3, it makes sense that he would want to do that. So, like, if we're actually talking about, like, what Deadpool 3 is going to look like, right? It could be that Ryan Reynolds is like, right, you know what we're doing? We're bringing all the actors back, or we're bringing as many as we can back, including Hugh Jackman, for Deadpool kills the Fox universe, right? Where he just goes around and he kills off everybody. Don't know why it could be. Deadpool 3, it feels like that's something Ryan Reynolds would want to do. I mean, what if, I mean, that would be epic, man. What if the end of the movie is Deadpool, like, has resorted to killing the Fox universe and Wolverine fights against him one last time? Like, it's like a one last hurrah kind of thing.
I could definitely see that as, like, how maybe Ryan Reynolds would want to close out his Deadpool movies. Like, I don't know how any of this could work. Like, all right, so Spider-Man No Way Home gives us reasonable stuff. They get pulled in. It's people who know Peter Parker's Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
And then the multiverse gets opened up even more with Multiverse of Madness, with someone who is now, like, able to, like, just willingly hop through them. So my question is it the same Deadpool?
What do you mean, like across?
In Deadpool 3, will it even be the same one?
Well, see, that's the thing, right?
That's a whole new can of worms. What if it's not even the same guy?
No, but that's the thing. Okay,
his name is Slade Wilson.
Because this is the thing, right? At the end of Deadpool 2, if there's going to be any consequences for Deadpool's past shenanigans, because he goes back in time, he tries to kill Hitler, he kills his old version of himself from a different timeline, he messes up the whole thing, and there's bound to be, like, consequences for that in some way, shape, or form. So what if Deadpool 3 is him fighting his way out of a destroyed universe? Like, you know the way in Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange goes to a universe that has degraded as the result of an incursion, right?
Yeah.
What if Deadpool's actions has caused that because the TVA are no longer around to keep things in check? So Deadpool 3 is Deadpool having to travel or try to travel to other universes, and then he somehow runs into a Wolverine that happens to be played by Hugh Jackman. Because, okay, here's the thing. I do not believe Hugh Jackman's going to stick around for the long run in regards to the MCU.
Definitely not. To real quick, like, put my thoughts on this to bed, I think Hugh Jackman's going to come back for this one movie, not because, like, Kevin Feige asked him to or this and that. I think Ryan Reynolds just wants it. I think it is literally, so in the teaser that Ryan Reynolds put out, like, online, where he announced that Hugh Jackman is going to be in the movie, I think realistically, in just, like, a much less comedic way, it maybe might just be reflecting reality, because in that teaser, Ryan Reynolds says to Hugh Jackman, "Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine again?" And he casually says, "Sure, Ryan." I feel like he's just doing it as a solid for Ryan Reynolds. And the way that they can so easily get away with doing it that casually is because it's Deadpool. You can throw whatever you want in a Deadpool movie, and they will fourth wall the hell out of it to explain why the overcomplication does not matter. They will do whatever they want. They will say whatever they want to just bring it in. In the first Deadpool, they show up to the X-Men mansion, and then he says, where's everyone else? Couldn't afford them, could they? Like, so I think they'll just casually say whatever they want to say. They'll explain it away somehow. He's not going to be in this for the long run. Hugh Jackman he's getting too old for it. It's getting to be a bit much. If they're going to do a new Wolverine, I think just a new fresh face would work. Maybe go the X-23 route, but Hugh Jackman definitely feels like a one-time thing where it's just a favor to Ryan Reynolds. 100%.
What really matters in terms of what we're trying to find out is whether or not this is going to be like a John Krasinski moment, right? Is it going to be that Wolverine's literally going to appear for 5 to 10 minutes and then that's it? Or is he going to be a bigger part of the film? Like, is it going to be the case that maybe Wolverine and Deadpool are going to team up for one last hurrah? I would love that.
I think that is the way that they're going. I think they've all but said that is the way they're going. The 3 on the teaser is literally his claw marks. Like, he's there. He's saying he's in the movie. I don't think it's going to be like 15 minutes. They know how pissed people would get, and I think they know that it would be going maybe a bit too far just for the gag.
If they did do that, I would probably completely lose faith in the MCU.
Oh,
if it was like
yeah.
on all of the marketing. Because, you know, at least with Multiverse of Madness, they only kind of hinted.
Yeah,
right?
like all you see, you don't see John Krasinski in any trailers. Charles Xavier is also not in any trailers, except for his voice when he says we should tell him the truth. They don't really advertise any of them. And I get it, you know, it's to like make the reveal more impactful when you actually see them. Because the John Krasinski situation is a little different. Kevin Feige has openly like said that John Krasinski was, well, it's a multiverse. He's like, oh, it's a multiverse movie. We can do whatever we want. John Krasinski's a very popular fan cast. Let's bring him in. So basically what he was saying is that John Krasinski might not even be the MCU's Mr. Fantastic. Just this one for this specific movie because the fans really wanted it. Wolverine being in Deadpool 3, I feel like that's just the point of the movie. Like, they're not going to try and subvert any expectations by being like, yeah, no, it's just 15 minutes or it's just 10 minutes. Here's your little cameo that you wanted. Isn't that cute? I think it's going to be full swing. He's going to be there. He's going to wear either the yellow and blue X-Men suit or he's going to wear the yellow, like the orangish brown original Wolverine costume. Like, he's gonna be full Wolverined up. They're gonna do the whole 9 yards, the whole works, the whole kit and caboodle, and then they're gonna find a way to smoothly just write him out like right at the end, and bada boom bada bing, we got our Deadpool Wolverine team up, and there's no real reason to keep him around.
Would you see Ryan Reynolds joining the MCU as a permanent fixture as Deadpool? Like, or do you think that this could be his last hurrah? Because it really depends. Like, I mean, they confirmed Wolverine and Deadpool are going to have some kind of involvement with the MCU. So does that mean that these two characters are going to somehow multiversal travel over to the MCU 616 universe? And how are they going to integrate into that? Personally, I think Wolverine is going to be dead. He's going to die, or he's going to be sent back to the Fox universe to live out his life as Logan. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is going to end, and we might even get a hint as to who the new Wolverine will be in the MCU, because I do not think it will be Hugh Jackman. And the other thing is that I also don't think that mutants are going to play a big, huge part until maybe after Secret Invasion. The reason why is because the X-Men, realistically, are the next biggest Marvel team, right? Because you have the Avengers. The Avengers have already been wrote out. Fantastic Four we know is coming. But then mutants, what other teams are there that people are going to be like, we want this and we want this now? So if they want to ensure the longevity of the MCU, the X-Men are going to have to be like, they're going to hit it hard, and they want to make sure they do it right. And I don't feel like they're prepared to just throw Hugh Jackman in and be like, yep, no, he's here, bye. Hugh Jackman's not going to stick around. It's not going to be a throwaway cameo. The other question is whether or not Deadpool is going to come in, and this version, the Fox version of Deadpool, is he going to come into the MCU and stay in the MCU, or is there going to be an entirely new version of MCU's Deadpool without any sort of like history with Fox's version? Because could it be that maybe Ryan Reynolds, let's say he does do a Deadpool kills the multiverse, right? He comes into the 616, he's like, I like it here. I'm going to cut this world's version of Wade Wilson's head off, and then I'm going to pretend like I'm from here. Or is it going to be that he's going to end up dead, and we're going to find out, oh, there's been a Deadpool in the MCU this entire time. We just haven't seen him yet.
And it's the one with his mouth sewn shut.
Oh my God, imagine. Oh no, wait, imagine if Deadpool kills the multiverse is like an undead version of the old X-Men Origins Deadpool, and he comes back to life and he tries to kill everybody in every universe and every timeline, and Deadpool and Wolverine have to kill the old version of Deadpool from Origins. Imagine if...
Okay, but you realize that is literally how the Deadpool trilogy works, right? Like, that is exactly how that comic goes. It's not 616 Deadpool that goes around killing every other universe. It's just some random like one-off universe that they go with. So yeah, that would make the most sense. He's pissed about like being made fun of all these years, comes back, starts killing like every other universe, and then main movie Deadpool, that's the Deadpool kills Deadpool portion of that comic story.
He has done like promotional things with Korg. Like, so he is in the MCU. He's going to be a part of the MCU. So it's not going to be like he's throwaway. He's going to stay in the MCU. Think it might be the Foxverse MCU one. I think Kevin Feige at one point did mention that he wanted to bring all these old actors and merge them into the MCU, but some actors were like, I don't want to commit to the MCU, because being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a really tough gig for a lot of people.
Yeah, you literally have to clear your filming schedule or whatever. Like, you can't be in anything else if you're in the MCU.
Exactly.
If they need you for reshoots or just a new movie in general, it is in your contract, I'm pretty sure, to drop whatever you're doing.
Exactly. Idris Elba and his appearance in Thor: Love and Thunder was so forced. You could tell he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, he's sitting there like, man, I'm Knuckles the Echidna now. I don't need this.
So, like, the idea is that there will be some multiverse shenanigans in Deadpool 3. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, he probably will be involved in it in a main kind of way, not a John Krasinski throwaway way, but he will not join the MCU because there's already a Wolverine in the MCU who we're yet to see who's been cast as. And Deadpool will join the MCU, and it will be the Foxverse Deadpool who will join the MCU. Yeah. Damn, get out the money, boys. Are we about to predict the entire future of the MCU? I think so. I'm willing to die on this hill.
Ready to put your money where your mouth is, big man?
Man, I'm gonna put down $100 right now. Hugh Jackman will die or be sent back to the Foxverse. He will not join the MCU in any way.
100 fucking Scottish shekels. Yeah, I'm ready.
You're Canadian. Even though the pound is crashing right now, it's worth like double what the Canadian dollar is. You could buy at least like 25 guys for that.
Well, the Monarch is dead. Suck my nuts.
Well, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Wolverine will stay in the MCU, or he's just going to be throwaway for this movie? Is he going to be a big part, or is he going to be a small part? And how do you think Deadpool will join the MCU? Will he be a Foxverse version, or will it be just another MCU version? Let us know in the comments. Tweet us. Just keep the conversation going.
Please, if you don't, boys. I'll die. It's like a shark. I can't stop swimming. Please, we gotta talk about the funny superhero movies.
Anyway, thank you very much, guys, and we shall catch you next time.
Bye.